Okay, here is my maple syrup. And as I said, I think it went a little too far, and I had a top layer of sugar on it. Pulling the pan off by myself can be a little hard, and my fire was a little too hot for that stage of the syrup. Sometimes the fire gets going really good. So to correct that, it's no trouble at all. Just add a little bit of maple sap to it until it feels a good consistency. And that was thinner than it was. I have added about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of sap. If you don't have sap, you can add water, and then you just have to evaporate that back off. But watch it closely, or you're going to end up right back where you were. And you have to really watch it in your house, because if this boils over, you're going to have to pull out your stove and take the whole thing apart. And getting that sticky residue washed away is a lot of work. And if you don't, then you end up with ants in a few weeks. So my jack went out and brought me in a 5-gallon bucket with about 2 gallons of sap in it. So I am able to continue on with what I need here. And I'm just filtering it in the house with this. So right here I've got a 4 cup. And I'm going to just pour this right in here till I feel like I have the right consistency, and then watch the temperature, and I will run it back through the hydrometer. So everything's been washed up. I cleaned my pan really good. I went back through and cleaned up the bottom of the pan and my hydrometer and everything. So you can see this is the measuring cup that I was using, and there's just absolute sugar stuck on that. The trick to making maple sugar is just keep right on cooking your maple syrup, but it's better to start with maple syrup than to do it accidentally, because this needs to still be filtered. Yeah. Georgie is checking in because I have on the GoPro. Hi. And he thinks I'm funny. So I've just got this over medium heat to let it dissolve. And I'm just going to hang out here in the kitchen and kind of work on dinner at the same time. So I'll show you this going through the filter in just a little bit. Okay, we are going to test this syrup now. I have added a little more maple sap, raw maple sap to it. And while I did it, I just had the pot on medium for heat because it's cold sap from outside. Just gathered this afternoon. The sap was running today. So I've got that almost filled to the top. You can fill it right to the top, but then it just overflows anyway. So do it over your pot for that reason. So you just lower this real gentle into your hydrometer cup, and then just let it float. And that red line just went under. And that's the cold test. I am at like lukewarm. It's not 211 degrees. And to test it for your 211 degrees, it would be boiling. So if you are doing it just based on temperature, you're going to want a candy thermometer, which I have here. This is an Accurate candy thermometer. So I'm going to just put this in here and see what our temperature is at right now for my own curiosity. So I'm at about 140 degrees. So that would be an accurate reading right there for the cold test for 60 degrees. So we are done filtering filtering works best when it's hot. So I will test this one more time as it's getting hot. It is best to not have a lot going on in the kitchen when this is going on. And because of boilovers, you don't want anybody close to the oven, because when it boils over, it goes everywhere. So just know that. And you don't want it getting in contact with your skin because it will burn you terribly. So, that is testing with the hydrometer.
Okay, it has been about an hour since I quit bottling, and this is the last of the syrup that's left in the bottom of the cone. It's not very much. And you can see how much that filtering, how important that is. All that dark is in there. So I have probably a gallon of syrup in the bottom there. I will drain these out into the second cone and let it finish just kind of drop filtering, and then I'll reheat this in the morning and bottle it. Okay, here's the second pre-filter, so you can see it still did some work and some filtering. And I just rinse these out in the sink, turn them inside out, rinse them. You're not supposed to use any kind of soap or detergent. This is the third pre-filter. And here is your actual filter. And this is why those are so important, to get those larger particles before it goes through here. Another way of filtering is what's called a filter press. And it actually vacuum pushes it through several layers of press and papers. So this is the second filter. Here's the third. So I'll just let that continue to go through there for the night and get these pre-filters washed out. But the amount of sludge in here, there's the first filter. So that is it for filtering for today. I'm going to clean up and go to bed. It's roughly 10:30. So that's pretty good. I've been at this for, several hours on and off, but when the temperature dropped, I just let it go, and I'll get back to it tomorrow morning. When everyone's still asleep, I'll drain this off. It's got a safety valve on it so that the kids can't come and accidentally turn it. See here, they have to lift this up to be able to turn that. So this will get emptied out when nobody's around. So that's all the filtering for tonight. Bye-bye.